In many outdoor spaces, the space itself has developed its own social script. In these spaces, the overlap of masculinity and competition is present. Outdoor users, especially males, oftentimes enter these spaces with an understood and predetermined script that, when performed correctly, is commonly associated with an essence of competition. This script is commonly unspoken and typically nuanced. Overall, the script being performed in these spaces has the potential to discourage other users from entering. This video and the results of this study are highlighting and showcasing the social script and masculine performances found in these outdoor spaces. Really?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite radio station?
93.3.
Really?
Yeah.
What is that?
That is the rock channel.
Like, what kind of rock are we talking about? Like,
Um,
old school?
it varies. Like, it can be pretty old school. It can be pretty screamo. It can be pretty like Evanescence kind of feel. But that's what I crank up when I'm leaving camp and when I'm driving into camp at 7:30 in the morning.
I'm unsure at this point, though. It said 4, but I think that's the last bolt. Kind of crazy.
Hello.
What up, man?
What's up?
Not much. I just got off Zoom. I'm thinking I can be ready in like 30-ish minutes if you're trying to meet at Kathy's around like 4:10. We splashed up towards the next hole. Jason paused and began to cast upstream into the small riffle above. After he ran his flies through the main drift line, it was my turn. I quietly moved upward towards the gravel bank, trying to be somewhat stealthy, which is always a bit of a challenge in clunky wader boots. I casted once, not really where I wanted it to be. I reset with a delayed roll cast. The yellow, chubby Chernobyl was quickly met with an eruption and a flash of gold from beneath the surface. Boom. My internal scoreboard notched 1. I was relieved to be on the board. I knew the unspoken competition was now truly underway.
Yeah, boy.
Hammered the top.
That's cool.
That was awesome. We got a little brown, maybe?
Looks like
A
it.
little butter.
Little slab of butter. Butter the biscuit. Well, hell, I feel like we need to go find a brook trout now for you.
No! Little trifecta. Look at there, man.
Slam that thing.
Man, I can't stop listening to Bear Grease, though.
Bear Grease is by far my favorite podcast.
It's like every time I get in, I'm like, yeah, I'm listening to that.
The rotation has been, I love Pod Save America, keep up my political news, Bear Grease, and Zach Bryan, right? And it's like one of those 2, 3.
It's
like,
so good.
If it's not Bear Grease or Zach Bryan, I don't need to listen to it.
There's like some inherent, unspoken even, like, scoreboard, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like who's gonna
Yes.
strike first, or... Yeah.
And I think it's not so much with you, but I think with other people that maybe I'm less familiar with, it's more of a competition with, like, to prove my whatever aptitude at whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
Sideways for a second, I was like,
Does this rock on the corner ever wig you out?
yes, all the time.
It looks nasty. Dude, that's scary in there.
My phone buzzed. I clumsily reached towards my side table, fumbling for my glasses and my phone. Through squinted eyes, I glared at my screen. A text from Chris. For a moment, I thought he might be bailing on me. When I opened the text, Chris asked me for my electric air pump for his canoeing float bags. Well, shit, I thought. Should I be canoeing too? Is it a wimp play to bring a kayak at today's level? Am I a poser? I know canoeing is more old school. Canoeing is a little bit cooler. Canoeing is more masculine. Damn, my lime green kayak was already on my car.
I think my own competitive nature plays out within the outdoor industry by like wanting to like seek out that next certification for paddle sports, or like wanting to seek out that next degree, or like feeling like I like and I see it play out in like outdoor like recreation by like that tick list of like, oh, I've paddled this river, and this river, and like I've like biked this trail and this trail, or I've climbed like 515, like like trying to like hit those tick lists in the competitive nature in that sense.
Woo! Just like a little path of like where you're supposed to go, just like with the leaves.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah. It's like you get out of the main path and you're just like.
We turned onto the gravel road. I could tell I already had too many layers on. I was already sweating. As we began uphill, I was quickly reminded that I hadn't been biking much. My pedals and heavy legs chugged along. Lucas rode next to me, seemingly effortless. He was in good bike shape. I grew more self-conscious as I half-heartedly pedaled onward. My heart pounded in my head. I knew we would stop at the top. As we continued to have good chit-chat, we continued to subtly and unspokenly jockey for whose tire was ahead, even if just by a few inches. Later in the ride, I made sure Lucas went first, shamefully admitting that he was way faster, therefore worthy of the first line down. As I descended Middle Black, my brakes squeaked loudly, annoyingly announcing to the forest of my cautious descent. As I rounded the corner where I could see Lucas, I let off my brakes and was trying to go wide open at the bottom. The power pedal?
Oh, dude. I'll show you a power pedal.
Do you think that competition is inherent to outdoor recreation or outdoor sports, specifically between men?
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's society. I think it's from a long-standing thought that the male has to perform physically at the peak of their ability, and the person who comes first in any competition is the best male, and that's end of story. Period. They're like, oh, I want to be the fastest, or like I want to be the fastest. The best climber at the shop. I want to be the strongest weightlifter in the gym. I want to be the best whitewater paddler.
Right.
I want to be the the fastest cyclist downhill. I want to be the fastest one uphill. It's all connected to this weird competition.
As we reached the steepest part of our hike, our conversation slowed. Shortly after, we grew quiet. We were both breathing heavily. We could see the saddle ahead where we would stop for water. Once we reached our rest spot, we caught our breath and sipped on water. Our conversation was quickly interrupted by the churning sound of a descending mountain biker. He continued down the trail. After our brief break, I was eager to move on. Although we were hiking together, I wanted to hike ahead. I started uphill again, motivated to hike at a fast pace. While moving up, I questioned why I wanted to drop Griffin behind. To display my fitness? To make a point? Is this masculine?
Like things that can seem easier to other people about the physicality of being in the outdoors are things that I really, really struggle with. And luckily, at least in today's society, especially with outdoor educators, with people that I work with, and maybe even especially with other men, that's not really seen as like a bad thing. I've never received shaming for that. I've felt ashamed, but I've never received that externally from other people. And I don't think many people who work professionally in the outdoors experience that sort of shame when it comes to being a man and not performing physically, not seeming physically competent. What I do feel competitive of is like knowledge.
Dude, this is a high-ass bolt. That's a good hold, though. Woo! So pretty much rock. That's like the go-to.
How's that little water groove? Does it feel pretty good?
Sheesh. Pretty classic. North Carolina classic. One bolt. Don't fall.
Why even put the bolt in?
Dude, I'm like, whatever, man. Yeah, I'd be on the ground anyway. Get you going, though. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, dude, that's close call. But luckily, it's pretty easy in there. I started up the route Trinaceous. Immediately, I wished I'd brought some chalk. The small cams clanked on my harness as I slugged up the Pisgah slab. I assumed the position to lead the first route. I was planning to place a few cams on the inevitable run out. I knew Ezekiel knew how to lead, but it felt important to me to rope up first. The unspoken nature of roping up first sets the tone for the day. I was planning to lead climb. I was proud to showcase my local approach to making this a mixed climb.
I think I'm, as a whole, more intrinsically motivated with outdoor recreation than I am extrinsically motivated. But, you know, if I'm going out climbing with some of my best friends, some of the role models that I mentioned as well, like if I'm going climbing with Josh or I'm going climbing with my friend Niall, then I'm going to want to show them that I am good at climbing. And when I see them do something cool, I want to be able to show them that I can also match for their style, match for their flashing up something. So yeah, I absolutely do feel some degree of competition. I think most of it is still internal, but there is a certain component of it that's external and intrinsically related with my masculinity and how I perform it.
In conclusion, the intent of this video is to emphasize and highlight the hidden social script performed in outdoor spaces. More awareness of how we, as outdoor users, are performing in these spaces can create a more accessible place.